welcome to another episode of Doctors Unhinged. And today I have a special guest, May Noah Simon, who is a rather interesting guest. Yeah, because she is an advocate for a topic that I'm personally passionate about. How many followers is it on Facebook? 60,000 plus?
Yeah, 60,000 plus.
What's the name of the platform? Single mothers
Yeah, single mothers living
living
with
with HIV.
HIV. Yes.
Which is a very interesting topic because it's been around for so long, but me now is not only offering counseling but advocating and normalizing the conversation around. And today, we're going to take a deep dive into her journey, what pushes her to do what she does. So let's start with that. Where do we begin with Miss Simon?
Okay, maybe we should begin by first introducing myself to your viewers.
Please, absolutely, go ahead.
My name's Nono Simon, the founder of Single Mothers Living with HIV. I have been diagnosed with HIV in 2007.
Hmm.
So I've got 19 years after having been diagnosed. I do a lot of things. I'm a counselor and currently pursue my degree in psychology. I am also a trainer of trainers. I do like basically a lot of things, but for now I will stop there with the introduction. And yeah, like I said, I've been diagnosed since 2007 with HIV. So this is me living positively with HIV. Yeah.
What inspires you to start the Single Mothers Living with HIV?
When I was diagnosed 2007,
Yeah,
you can
19 years ago.
imagine. Yeah, you can imagine issues of HIV. We did not speak much about them. And after I was diagnosed, because I was pregnant by then,
Mm-hmm.
I I was really shattered. I was really shattered, and I normally share this on my page when I motivate my followers to say, "You are looking at someone who tried committing suicide 3 times but failed." I think because God said not now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I was so depressed. My mental health was like deteriorated very quickly because after I was diagnosed, I gave birth to my child, and then 6 months later, the child passed away.
I'm so sorry.
So yeah, no. So I was in a very very dark place. I didn't see the need to leave. I
Yeah.
was asking myself, why me?
Mm.
Why did you let yourself contract HIV? Why were you not responsible enough? Because I was infected by my then partner. After I told him the results, he just said to me, I didn't know how to tell you that I'm HIV positive.
Mm.
I felt like he had sentenced me to death.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. And then it took something like 10 years for me to deal in and out of depression. And until I said, because even by then I needed someone to talk to,
Yeah.
someone who will understand when you say you are HIV positive. They will be talking about their experience with me, not talking from the theory part
Yeah.
you get. So yeah, that's how I get to start Single Mothers Living with HIV. I'm not yet married, I'm single. So I was targeting because I saw that as women we go through a lot of
No,
things
of course. A
and
lot.
we need each other's support. So that's how Single Mothers Living with HIV came to be. But fortunately, even men, they follow my page. Married people follow my page, so it's no longer about the single people, but everyone who is infected or affected by HIV.
HIV unfortunately still carries a lot of stigma
Mm-hmm.
around it.
Yeah.
And there's not too many pages like yours around. I wish we had more to try and normalize the conversation around it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is that something that you experience from your followers? Do they tell you about that? The stigma that goes around still.
Yeah. There's still a lot of stigma. Look at it this way, that we've got 40 plus talking about HIV.
Mm.
The first HIV case having been mentioned, but even today,
Mm.
we still. I'm one person who has also experienced stigma firsthand.
Mm.
You know, they used to call me Ngwanyana wa AIDS because you get to know that people, I think people are, there's a lot of
What?
misinformation. Yes. You go to a funeral, a wedding, and you try to help. You know that mostly African
Mm.
countries we prepare food, and then someone will just tell me to say, no, no, you can't touch food because you are sick. You'll make us sick. They were thinking that if I touch food, I'll pass the virus to them. So there's still a lot of stigma. Mostly the counseling that I do now, because I do online counseling. I've got clients even outside the country. So most of the counseling that I do is stigma, because people are being stigmatized for their HIV status, and then they end up not accepting their HIV status. And you know what happens, Mayamba, when someone doesn't accept their HIV
Yeah.
status, they don't adhere to
No, they don't.
treatment, which we don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's still a lot of stigma.
Before I circle back to the question I want to ask, just
Mm-hmm.
because of what you mentioned about acceptance and adherence, do you think so? There's you and the 60,000 plus that you have, which is a commendable amount. I don't think
Thank
that's
you.
that's something that we need to shy away from.
Yeah, thank
But then we have a whole population of 2 million
you.
plus,
Mm-hmm.
give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Major learning points become schools and communities. Do you feel from your personal experience that the schools and the communities are doing enough in terms of raising awareness, or how do we go about the conversations of it for a young
Yeah.
person dealing with this?
It's a good question that you are coming up with, because I have been before, because now I'm totally in a new field with my work.
Yeah.
When I used to be full time on the HIV issues, I used to go around schools. One, and then I don't think they're doing enough, eh?
Yeah.
Why am I saying that? You find that I have approached the Ministry of Education to say, I don't know if you know that they still put these posters with skeletons, like whereby they write
Still.
HIV kills. I don't know if you guys have seen that. So imagine a child who is born with HIV. What message are you saying to them? We need, my view is that we need to sensitize people, and also take into mind that there are kids who are born with this thing. We don't want to scare them, because the moment you say HIV kills, they wouldn't want anything to do or to be
With it, yeah.
associated. Yeah, and then they end up not adhering again to medication. Even the language, even I feel most teachers are not fully equipped to my desire,
I
to be
agree.
teaching, yes, to be teaching kids about HIV, or even some of these other NCDs. So I don't think they're trying, but we are not yet there.
What keeps you going? Seeing that we've established that there's still so many gaps to fill, all right?
Mm-hmm.
What keeps you motivated in terms of trying to empower the masses? Granted, it almost feels like you're fighting a solo battle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I won't lie. Sometimes I just feel like, what's the use of me, taking my time, traveling. Sometimes I even travel outside the country, trying to, it's hard, but what keeps me going is, I think, first, I love people. I
Mm,
love people. I want to save. I started this thing as me wanting to save my nation, but
mm,
then it ended up me saving even other nations. And the testimonies that I have received from my followers, that some of them even were like me, they wanted to commit suicide, they wanted to, so the testimonies that they keep on giving to me are the ones that motivates me to keep
yeah.
going, to see that, okay, fine, even though you can't save the whole of Botswana, even though you can't save the whole world, but what you are doing is reaching other people, and it's really benefiting them, and I can't afford to stop, because I also believe that this is my God given purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking back into the early 80s,
Mm-hmm.
81s, 83s until 84 in the US, where
Mm-hmm.
Robert Gallo and his team first determined that this virus is causing AIDS, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then they've officially named HIV in 1986.
Yeah.
It has been such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
and medicine has progressed.
Yeah.
We've made advancements like preventing mother to child
Mhm.
transmission,
Mhm.
preventing adult to adult
Yeah.
transmission. But it almost feels like we have this progression of medicine,
Mhm.
but no progression in terms of education of the masses.
Mhm.
Like what you were told about being at a wedding and trying to help, and then you have these comments from these people. My question for you then becomes, how do you, what would your words of encouragement be to a newly diagnosed HIV patient and
Uh,
and a similar situation
yeah.
into yours
Mhm.
where sometimes I see this a lot with with clinical practice,
Mhm.
that you have a lot of predictable and unpredictable
Mhm.
illnesses, right? You
Mhm.
had no idea of this.
Yeah.
Like in your case, your
Mhm.
partner tells you, I didn't know how to tell you,
Mhm.
which is absolutely wrong, which is something I want us to touch upon
Yeah.
next about
Yes.
disclosure,
Yes. Yes. Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Because I remember when we spoke, there was
Yeah.
a hot topic going
Mhm.
on around on Facebook.
Mm.
But my thing is, how do you talk to someone that's newly diagnosed?
What I can say to them is, um, for you to be able to maneuver around living with HIV, you need to first start by accepting.
Yeah,
You know, acceptance is a big deal.
yeah,
You know, even in life, generally, when you've got a financial problem or whatever problem that it is that you're having, the first step to
acceptance.
recovery is
I
acceptance.
agree.
You need to accept. And if they find that it's so hard for them to accept, I am here, they can contact me
Yeah.
for counseling.
Mm.
Then I do the counseling so that I bring them to terms, you know. I have seen it helping so many people because they'll be asking questions that I am able to answer because I am living with HIV. You know, I'm not just talking as a counselor
Yeah.
or as a soon to be a psychologist, but I'm talking to them even about my experiences. So acceptance is key. And if they find it hard to accept on their own, they need to seek counseling. Most people think, I normally see even on Facebook, do you want me to pay someone just to be sitting down and talking to that person? And they forget that that person has gone to school, has
Trained
been
for it.
taught, yeah, trained for it. So counseling works. I have gone through counseling myself,
Mm.
you know. So they should accept and go for counseling, and then follow pages like single mothers living with HIV, because I share my life experiences there. I motivate there. I teach there about HIV, you know.
I think it's an honorable thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
because like for example, on my end, regardless of how much medical information I could have, it becomes a whole different ball game when you've been
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
situation, right? If for example, I grew up in Botswana my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
and then I wanted to talk about, let's say, racism in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
it's different from, no matter how much I
Yes.
read and understand, I've never been hands
Mm-hmm.
down on the ground
Yeah.
with 19 plus years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a really honorable thing that you're doing. Which brings me to something that could go either left or right. By either
Bring
left or
it
right,
on. Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean there's, for lack of a better term, equal arguments for each.
Yeah.
I know where I stand,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll preempt by saying I'm pro full
Mm-hmm.
disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
I've said this before.
Yeah.
Um Now tell me about your experience, maybe for example, in terms of counseling.
Mm-hmm.
Um Also maybe even personal experience, be it
Mm-hmm.
anecdotal.
Yeah.
In your case, how your partner at the time said they didn't know how to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Or and then let's take that now into like a setting of marriage,
Mm-hmm.
where I mean, I've heard in certain situations, even from you, where
Mm-hmm.
let's say both parties were taking medication and
Mm-hmm.
never came to the table and
Yeah.
told each other. Are these things that are happening on a day to day? Is it just fiction? Is it just something I'm hearing on my own?
Yeah. It's a disclosure, right? um Let me start by saying, to disclose, as an advocate, I stand and speak for the masses who are unable to speak for themselves.
Mm.
And I normally say this: you are not forced to Now this is the HIV advocate speaking. You're not forced to disclose your HIV
It's
status,
good. Yeah.
because if you are forced, we'll be trampling upon your rights.
Yeah.
Remember, we've got rights
Yeah.
as
Human rights
people,
at the end of the day.
right? So you are not forced. But now, as a person, I always say it's always better to disclose, because there are many things that happens when you don't disclose.
True.
You are in a new relationship, you find you there, it's nice, you're still in the honeymoon stage, and you have not disclosed. What happens? You're not comfortable. You won't even take your medication, because you know the bottles for the ARV. Everyone knows them, right? So you won't even be comfortable taking your medication in front of your partner. You're going to default.
Mm.
And when you default, we know what happens,
Yeah, so
Mayamba.
many
Your,
complications.
your viral load is
Goes up.
detectable, it
Yeah.
goes up. And then you infect your partner. What if your partner has got another partner? It's gonna be a chain. So, like I'm saying, I want people to know that, as we all have rights, we are not forced to disclose. But the honorable thing, or the good thing, the right thing to do, you need to disclose. Or better still, if you are not comfortable, because nowadays relationships are it's another topic. If you're not comfortable, please take care, take your medication, adhere to your medication, and make sure that you use protection.
Mm.
Yeah, because there's another issue. I think we will find time and talk about it, because most people are afraid of contracting HIV. They forget that there are other
Preventable. Yeah.
sexually transmitted infections. So you need to disclose. That's the right thing to do. And then my personal experiences, I have been rejected before by men. A man will approach you, say, "You are beautiful, I love you, I want to be in a relationship with you." Maybe me, I'll say, "I'm HIV positive." And then, at first they will think that I'm playing, only to find that I'm serious.
Mm.
And then someone will start to, no, 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 I can't be with someone who's got AIDS. Because, like I said, people are when we talk health issues, people are not educated enough.
Yeah.
There's still people who still think HIV is the same.
Yeah.
HIV is a virus.
Yes.
And then AIDS is the disease that is caused by what? HIV.
Yeah.
And you only get AIDS if you are not adhering to your
Yes,
medication,
it's
right?
true.
Yeah, so I was rejected left, right, and center by family. Some of the family members, it was party, they were laughing. But I stood my ground, because I had that thing in me to say, you know what, I want to do this thing. Come hell or high water, come what may come, I'm gonna do this thing. And now I can see it's bearing fruits for my people out there. So, and then, like the issue you touched on, I have had an incident, because we are bound by confidentiality. I
Of
won't say,
course.
but maybe I can just say, yes, there are married couples, legally married, who are HIV positive. You
And they
find
don't
that
know.
maybe it's both of them that are HIV positive, but they have not disclosed to one another. Or maybe it's one is the husband or the wife, and they have not disclosed to what? To their spouse. This is not fiction, Mayamba.
Yeah, no.
It's truth.
I've seen it too. Yeah.
We are on the ground, we are experiencing these things. And then when you ask someone, but why don't you disclose to your partner? Because this is the person that you stood and you sweared, to say, for better, for worse,
Yeah.
in sickness
And
and
in
in
health,
health.
forever, forever.
Yeah, so, but why are you not trusting them with this one? And then they'll be like, I'm afraid of stigma. If the moment I tell them, they are going to leave me. And then I normally say to them, but you know that your relationship is fake, or even your marriage is
I
fake,
agree.
because there's no truth, there's no honesty in it. So these things are there. And what I can encourage people is, the moment you can even do it before the wedding, so that you give the other person a chance
A
to
chance
say,
to
you
decide.
give so that they decide if they want to be, because it's their right as well to say, I want to be with someone who's HIV positive, or I don't want to be. We can't blame them, it's their right.
Um, I'll take a biblical scripture for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't remember where exactly in the Bible. I'll paraphrase.
Mm-hmm.
Speaks of my people perish because of the lack of knowledge. right?
Yeah.
There was a time I remember, like back when in the early 2000s, I think I was still probably high school,
Mhm.
primary school,
Mhm.
where the stigma was so real that people thought you could get HIV from even hugging somebody
Mhm.
or sitting next to them
Or
or
sharing a
sharing
cup.
a cup,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is there's this huge disparity in terms of advancement of what we know now
Mhm.
versus the rest of the people.
Yeah.
The fact that two people can get married and be afraid
Disclose.
to disclose it, then what's the point of getting married? Also, it becomes a thing of, okay, we're not going to disclose HIV, right? But then there's all these other STIs.
Mhm.
If you're afraid to disclose that, why don't you disclose the other ones?
Exactly my
Why don't you
point.
say, okay, no, I've had
I've got gonorrhea,
gonorrhea, I've got chlamydia, I've got
syphilis,
this.
genital warts. Yeah.
I just feel like at the end of the day, honesty becomes the best policy. Allow if the person for whatever reason, lack of
Mhm.
knowledge or whatever upbringing, decides not to choose you,
Mhm.
then hush up. But at least
Yeah.
you know self.
Exactly.
I was my honest,
Mhm.
transparent self.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that even in 2025 we're still
Yeah. And it's so sad because you know why we've got this Vision 2036, which talks about informed nation.
yeah fully educated.
Yeah. But look where we are. Because, like I said, when you don't disclose, a lot of things
Yeah,
happens.
behind the scenes.
And we've got this target as Botswana to say we want to start seeing zero new HIV infections. Are we even going to achieve that at the rate that we are going? You
It's
know?
hard to say that we
And
will.
then I also want to chip in and say this other thing. You normally hear young people saying, "No, HIV has a sepe." Like I'm like that is a wrong utterance. You can't say HIV has. You see now the mentality they are
It's
coming with
changed.
to say,
Yeah,
"I'll rather contract HIV because there are ARVs." Our economy right now, is down.
yeah,
We need money for. I can't survive without ARVs. I
yeah,
take them daily,
yeah.
and you find people just talking carelessly just like that. It's wrong. So.
Lack of education,
Mhm.
and that brings me to what you said. Right,
Mhm.
I am privileged from a medical standpoint
Mhm.
to understand chronic illnesses.
Yeah.
That taking one pill a day, haulu mutwa bolwetse wa
Eish.
sukiri, be it HIV, be it high blood pressure,
Mhm.
you take this one medication
Mhm.
that pretty much makes everything look normal.
Yeah.
You can't tell. If you put 10 people in front of me and told me, okay, find who's HIV
HIV.
positive, find who's hypertensive,
Mhm.
find who's diabetic, I would never know,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So there's medication that prevents all of this.
Yeah.
So, medically speaking, I know that granted you adhere to your medication,
Mhm.
everything's
It's
okay
fine. Yeah.
and life goes on.
Mhm.
You're a human being like everybody else.
Mhm.
But again, that's why I really value this opportunity with you
Mhm.
is these are conversations that people are not having.
Yeah.
And there are people like you that are pushing the narrative to be open about these
Mhm.
conversations
Yeah.
from a personal standpoint.
Mhm.
And if no one has said it to you, personally, I'm proud
Thank
and
you.
I really appreciate the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much.
I think in almost in conclusion,
Mhm.
what would be your advice to someone that is living with HIV? What would be a beacon of hope that you could give them?
To someone living with HIV, but before maybe we get there, let me quickly chip with this one. Um, I want Botswana to reduce stigma or to end stigma.
You took you
For
took
among.
my second question. I was gonna
Oh,
come to
sorry,
the
sorry.
ones who aren't.
Oh, sorry.
No, but go on, go
Yeah.
on. You're absolutely on the
So
right track.
yeah, I want them. I want the stigma to stop
I agree with
because
you.
um if we don't stop, I normally say this that people stigmatize people living with HIV as people living with HIV because you know why?
Mm,
They think the moment I say I'm HIV positive, someone at home, someone will be watching, they'll be thinking, oh, she was careless.
yeah,
She was careless, she didn't care. They forget that there are children who got this from their mothers
yeah,
at birth. They forget that there are many rape
yeah,
cases. Does a rapist think of using a condom? No. and you find that sometimes they are HIV positive. That's how you get this GBV issue.
Yeah.
You find that women are most vulnerable. You stay with a man, you are not working, you don't have funds, is the one doing everything for you. If he has got 10 other girlfriends and still wants to have unprotected sex with all of you, what is going to happen?
So many factors involved.
So I want them to think about this when they think stigma as well, and
Yeah.
try to be supportive to us. We need love, we need care, we need the support that we can get. And then what was I talking about? I was talking about that when the moment you say you are HIV positive, they think you are. They look at it from a moral eye perspective,
Yeah.
to say you don't have morals, or you were just careless, just like that. So yeah, I don't know what I might have forgotten, because I talk too much. When I talk HIV, I talk too much.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, my question was centered around someone that's newly diagnosed.
Oh yeah.
Um,
What I can say to them.
yeah.
Yeah. What I can say to someone who has been newly diagnosed is, normally when we say it, is like it's a normal saying that HIV is not a death
It's not the
sentence.
end of the world.
I'm seated here, they will be seeing me, watching me. You are seeing me, you guys are seeing me. I've got 19 years. You need to, though it's not, I won't lie and say it's nice taking a pill every day. I won't lie to anyone. There are times, there are days that I get pill fatigue.
Yeah. Which
You
is a
know,
real thing.
yeah. So I need them to accept that this thing is here, and then seek help.
No man
And
is an island.
yeah, seek help. Find people, find someone to talk to, find a counselor. Ask questions where you don't understand, because most people, the moment that I told you are HIV positive, because I also tested for I tested for HIV, right? So the moment we give them the results, they're shaking, they're thinking, I'm going to die, and so that time they can't even ask questions. So I just want to say to them, HIV doesn't even define them or me. I'm seated here, I'm pursuing my dreams, I'm doing everything that I want to do, because I have accepted.
Yeah.
I know that as the scientists are still trying to look for a cure, which I think is taking too long for my liking as well.
I
We
agree.
yeah, we need to keep going.
Yeah.
We can't our dreams cannot die because we are HIV positive. I mean, like, what if God has sent you on earth to be doing something like I'm doing, and you are crying? Cry. I want to say to them, cry, wipe your tears, dust yourself, stand
And
up.
keep going.
If you need to crawl, you eventually will start walking and running. So yeah, they shouldn't lose hope. They should know that there's still life after HIV. I am a living testimony. Yeah.
And I think you've already answered my second half of the question of how, because those certain people tend to live isolated in the
Mm-hmm.
shadows because of everything that you said.
Yeah.
Stigma,
Mm-hmm.
guilt,
Mm-hmm.
what would people say? Because everyone wants to respond with, where were you? What were you doing? How could you let this happen
Yeah.
to you?
Mm-hmm.
And I think on a very simple level,
Mm-hmm.
I I try and it's a very different
Mm-hmm.
balance of the two.
Yeah.
But I try and say, okay, BP.
Mm-hmm.
He takes a pill a day.
Yeah.
How come you don't stigmatize against him?
Exactly my point.
Why aren't you saying, oh, unali BP, rotlan
P.
sela BP,
Ona
and
sukiri.
unali suki, rotlan
Mm.
sela? Why is there different classism? When I can explain to you and she can explain to you that it's
Mm.
all the same across
Yeah.
the board. We've made so much progression in it.
Mm.
Let me finally end it off with this, because
Yeah.
I know we can talk forever
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
What is your dream goal with the single mothers living with HIV?
Mm. I've got so many dreams, and so help me God.
Amen.
I want to see an HIV free generation.
Mm.
I want to see people living with HIV being accepted by their families. You know that there are even children young adolescents that are disowned by their families because they're HIV positive. I want Botswana to start wanting to learn about
Yes.
HIV,
Yeah.
wanting to gain knowledge. I am here. I always say to them, use me,
Mm.
because the Minister of Health has trained me. I'm a TOT in HIV, mental health, NCDs, SRH. But they should allow us to teach them,
Yeah.
because there's this thing of ignorance of saying, the moment you start talking about HIV, someone will say, because HIV, they're always talking about HIV, but tomorrow they find that they are HIV positive. I want my people, like you quoted the Bible verse, is one of the Bible verses that I love so much,
Mm.
that my people are perishing
Because of the lack of
because
knowledge.
of lack of knowledge. Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And when you've got knowledge, no one can take it away from you.
Nobody.
And when you've got knowledge, you can make better informed decisions. When you've got knowledge, you can use it to help those people around you
Yeah.
as well. So I want my nation to have the hunger to be empowered, to have the hunger to know. They shouldn't just dismiss to say, because I'm not HIV positive. Now I can't be saying, Mayamba, because I don't have hypertension, I don't need to know about
Of
hypertension.
course.
What if tomorrow I am? So I want them to come to that and to end stigma. Because if we still have stigma, we are not going to win this fight.
What you just said now reminds me of it's a Chinese proverb.
Mm-hmm.
Says better to be a warrior
Mm-hmm.
in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yeah.
So better to have the information required
Mm-hmm.
before it even occurs.
Yeah.
So when the time, God forbid, it does happen, you
Mm-hmm.
know how to deal with it. It
Exactly.
could forget it being you. It could be someone you know. It could
Mm-hmm.
be your child. It could
Yeah.
be your relative.
Mm-hmm.
Better to be prepared with the
Yeah.
knowledge that's required.
Yeah.
And I really hope the next time we're able to do this again,
Yeah.
the page is at like 250,000.
Yeah. Please. That's where we are
250.
heading.
I just
They
hope.
should keep on pressing like they.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
even if you're not particularly in the situation, just go there and get equipped with the knowledge.
Learn. Mm-hmm.
Get
Yeah.
equipped with the knowledge.
Yeah. Learn. They should, because it's very, very important. I found that people who have got knowledge on most things are very wise people.
Mm.
Yeah. Very wise people.
Wisdom is key, guys.
Yeah.
Wisdom is key.
Mm.
Until then, kopa ho no amiti. Mind your business, engage with her, and be kind.